witches. So today we are going to be discussing the path of the hedge witch. So I use this title a lot in my own practice to describe what I do, and especially when I'm talking to other witches. It's just a title and a term that I think just works really well to describe what I do as a witch. So you know, I'm a relatively solitary witch. I do most of my magic by myself at my own altar. I don't really have a specific set coven that I only do magic with. I have taught myself a lot. I work with a lot of plants, and I do a lot of work within the home and the hearth as well as the kitchen. So on top of that I also do work with land spirits and animal spirits and a lot of deities. So there's just like a lot of, you know, walking between worlds, I guess. So today, I know that probably gave you a brief overview and I could probably end the video there, but today I want to go a little bit more in depth onto what a hedge witch actually is, because I feel like there's not a set definition, and I want to just kind of touch on the various like things that hedge witches do, because there's a lot. So what exactly is a hedge witch? A hedge witch is usually a solitary practitioner. They can be Wiccan, but they do not have to adhere to those practices. In fact, usually it is a folk magic type thing. However, I did learn about hedge witchcraft through the avenue of Wicca, so I do want to acknowledge that. Actually, I believe that the author Silver Ravenwolf put out a book called Hedge Witchcraft or Hedge Witch, or like to ride the hedge or something like that, and she's a very Wiccan author. So if you are reading that and not really like relating to the Wiccan structure of her book, don't worry, you don't have to do it like that. There are many ways to be a hedge witch, so don't worry. So where did the term hedge witch come from? There's actually two meanings to the name that we can derive today in modern witchcraft. The term originated in the Middle Ages to describe wise men and wise women who lived outside the town or village proper, like especially in Europe, and then even in the like 16 and 1700s in America, right? They lived beyond the hedgerows and outside the confines of the rules of the town, and they were kind of seen as like wild people, or shamans or healers of some type, and usually they're the people that one went to when they were looking for like a cure for an ailment that a doctor could not help with or a physician could not help with. The other part of the definition includes the idea of hedge walking, hedge riding, or hedge jumping, which are all kind of like terms used to describe the same thing, which is when a witch travels into the next realm or onto the astral plane. I definitely traveled a lot more when I was younger to work with my deities, when I was like not out with my practice, and kind of refer to, you know, my workings with my deities on that realm as hedge walking or meeting them in the astral plane. It can also refer to working with the dead, the fae, and reaching into other worlds to work with those types of spirits. So it's very much about finding that liminal space and traveling there. Hedge witches generally focus more on the magic of the home, so like daily practical magic, cleansing, honoring the land, cooking with an intention, stuff like that. So it's very home-centered because that's where their place of practice was the home. They have a focus on herbs, herb magic, and working with plant spirits, which is like one of the things that I do bring into my practice, and I think I've explained this before, but it's why I thank all of my herbs for their sacrifice before I use them. So it just is kind of my way of connecting with the spirit of the plant and asking it and thanking it for lending its energy to me, because I see that as a sacrifice of life. So, you know. Yeah. A hedge witch is known to honor and form bonds with the land around them. They're very in tune with the seasons, the changes of the earth, the rhythm of the earth, and the cycles of the earth, as well as the cycles of the moon. So using the moon energy or working with the lunar phases is very important to hedge witches. And they do work with ancestors a lot. Like the main thing that sets hedge witches apart from just like an average or like other types of witches, like a green witch or a hearth witch, the thing that sets hedge witches apart is that spirit work and that focus on spirit work. So that could mean deities, that can mean ancestors, that can mean land spirits, angels, demons, whatever. Whatever works for you. For me, it's deities. And for me, it's traveling to the astral plane to work with them there. I do that through deep meditation. I do that with some plant help, mugwort, cannabis, stuff like that. And I just, that is a really central focus of my practice, is that deity work aspect. So that's how I see myself being that hedge witch. A lot of my deities are very death related, so that's why I use the term death witch a lot. So it's kind of like one of those two things. Those are the two main descriptors, I think, for my craft. Now that I'm saying it, I think I said like a couple weeks ago, like hearth witch and hedge witch, but like really, I think the more and more I think about it, and especially around this time of year, death witch, hearth witch, hedge witch, I think hedge witch is going to be a little bit like beating hearth witch out just a little bit. So yeah, hedge witches work a lot in those liminal spaces, like I said. So yeah, hedge witches really work with those spirits heavily, and that is a main focus of their practice. So if any of the things that I mentioned today you are interested in, I definitely recommend looking into the path of the hedge witch. There are tons of books about it. It's a very popular, I guess, path right now, so there's a lot of literature out there, and I invite you guys to explore. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.